That was quite a not as long as a break. Now I'm just gonna add the movie when I need it and then delete it afterwards so that it doesn't take up much space or I don't know. XSplit is, to me, it's really good. It's just that it doesn't. It seems like it might be my computer as well, not and everything. But my computer should be fine. I'm working at half capacity. But I'm using a lot of scenes right now and a lot of sources as well. I mean, I'm using all 12 scenes and at least 5 sources in every scene. Never had the problem earlier. Loading caster scene. Yeah, just keep talking. Was it a long time ago? Yeah, I have the premium edition. So it's not the free edition. You got the picks and bans, right? Posting it here as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's Osmodai. It's about 2 minutes now.
All right, guys, welcome back to the online key store HearthStone League. We've just had Raven versus Zetlot taking a convincing 4-0 lead over him, taking London Conspiracy up to 5 points, where SK Gaming are at 3. So this match means a lot. So Asmo and FreeK will be coming up next, and there's a lot of pressure on these players to win because it's really coming down to these two guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty close score. Like, as you said, 5-3 is not something that you cannot come back from. And we actually have the picks and the bans. So Asmodai has summoned Warlock, Hunter, and Rogue. His Warrior is banned, no surprises there. And Freaky has Rogue, Druid, Mage, and Hunter, and his Warrior is banned. So no surprise in the in the ban pick and ban section. What do you think of these lineups? Like, as you said, there's a lot of pressure for these players to perform. So what do you think of the decks?
Asmo taking Shaman's very interesting. It's not something I'd expect from him, but the decks I'm used to him playing are Warlock, Rogue, Warrior. Warrior got banned, so yeah, that's going to be interesting for me to see. As for FreeK, I mean, he's not taking Warlock. That's really surprising to me. Warlock is such a powerful deck right now, and not just because of what the current lists are capable of, but the mind games it creates. I mean, it makes mulliganing really hard because do you mulligan for handlock, or do you mulligan for mid, or I mean, it makes things difficult. I think that's why I like Warlock so much, is because it gives you a little bit of an edge while the opponent doesn't know what deck you're in. So looking at this lineup, Shaman's really weak right now, but Mech Shaman's quite an explosive deck and can do some work. Mid Shaman, I'm not too convinced by. So on paper, I think FreeK has the best lineup, but we'll just have to see what the Shaman can do.
Like I mean, to be honest, the only player that I know that has good results with Summon, like at the moment, is Hawkeye. Like, he went 7-0 in the DreamHack Summer, so that's using Summon in his lineup. And honestly, the only thing that I think Summon stands a chance in is the Druid matchup. Like, this I believe is the only matchup that, realistically speaking, Summon should have a good percentage to win this game. Also, you do not want to have your summon up against a rogue or a mage, and I don't think Hunter is an option as well. So yeah, summon is the weak link in Asmodai's lineup, but I'm pretty sure that he has a plan bringing summon to this tournament. So you said you do not know what kind of summon he is playing, right?
Not a clue. If I was him, I'd play Mech Shaman. I think that's the strongest list so far. It's very explosive. It can kill you so quickly as well. There's so much burst. But I mean, like I said, Mid Shaman, Hawkeye had some success with it, but he didn't run it at Gfinity, so he may have dropped it in favor of other classes, which some pro players do. I mean, Amaz doesn't play much Priest competitively anymore.
Yeah, of course.
The same with Gara, doesn't play much Shaman anymore.
I mean, there's a funny story for that. Like in that DreamHack, Gara was like, he was speaking with Hawkeye, and he was actually going like, "You're actually the best summon on the face of Earth. I have completely given up on the deck," or something like that. So I don't know. Yeah, it's Summon is one of these classes like praised for the players who want to devote a lot of their time into making sure that the deck works for them. And I believe that it's actually really important to pay close attention when people bring decks like that in such a good tournament. So I believe the players are ready, if I'm not mistaken, so we can jump into a game.
No, they're just running a few tests at the moment. We'll be with them. Yeah, we'll be with them soon. Asmo, other decks, I'm assuming it's going to be Malilock and Oil Rogue. Shaman is still a question mark. Hunter could really be anything. I mean, I expected Raven to bring Mid Hunter. It's a deck he's very strong with, but he ended up bringing Face, and it played into his favor. He did win 4-0. FreeK, Oil Rogue, like we discussed today, that Rogue is kind of stuck with one list right now. It's a few tweaks here and there, but ultimately the game plan is the same, the goal's the same. Druid, again, they've thrown some Ancient of Wars in. Hawkeye started doing it at DreamHack, just to deal with some of the patron. It's a good card to deal with patron, but again, mid Druid has its kind of set path. Mage is a big question mark, I suppose, from Freaker's lineup. There's a lot of mage lists around.
I mean, mage is kind of similar with warlock. Like as you said before, you do not know what to mulligan for. I believe the same stuff goes for mage. Like you do not know for sure if your opponent is tempo mage, if your opponent is freeze mage, or maybe giant mage is a thing. Maybe grinder mage can be a thing. Like we saw Kao in the previous match playing his own mage variant. So mage, a class that has a lot of decks, and that makes it really difficult for your opponent to predict what is actually going on. So okay, so we have a game, and let's see. We can jump straight into the game, I guess, and it's gonna be Freaky versus Asmodai. So it's gonna be Hunter versus Mage. Let's see the opening hands for both players.
Well, we did see Freaky have a Blood Mage Falnos in his opening hand before he mulliganed it, so it's definitely a freeze mage. Asmo's looking more like the mid-range deck, those quick shots being in there. I mean, they do kind of fall into the other Hunter decks, but I think the mid-range definitely utilizes a quick shot a lot better as a form of removal or a form of like just finishing that, closing out the games. But it still could be hybrid. It's definitely not face.
Yeah. So let's see.
So Mad Scientist coming down for 3k,
Yeah.
always a great card to start off with this deck. Cycle those secrets out of your deck so you don't draw into them. You get them played for free as well with the Death Rattle. Unfortunately for Asmo, he doesn't really have much apart from another Scientist, which will just trade. I think that's just fine. I mean, the problem with Hunters here, the traps don't really get much value because it's a freeze mage. It's just going to stall you out and burst you down. So the person who gets the most value from a trade here in the Mad Scientist is Freaky. It's a good start for him.
Okay, let's see as Asmodai is thinking about playing that Mad Scientist, at least in my monitor, he hasn't done so. But yeah, he decides to do that and pass the turn. And as you said, Freaky is the one who's going to gain the upper hand into that, because I do believe Freaky has two ways to go about it. He can ignore his opponent's Mad Scientist, try to get some damage there, but I don't believe this is what he wants to do since Alex doesn't see his hand. So I'm assuming he can just go Bloodmage Stanlos, crash the two Mad Scientists, and pass the turn back. And he gets a nice block while his opponent has a Snake Trap, so pretty good, turn for Freaky here.
It's interesting though. Snake Trap is kind of a flavor pick. It's a good card, but some players, I personally don't like it. I only like having one of Trap in Hunter, so I know what my Mad Scientist is going to get me, so I can play around that. But if you add another trap, you may need a freezing trap and you get something else you don't need. But Snake Traps is definitely going to create a bit of a mind game here, because he's not going to know it's Snake, and he might test to trap on a minion and give Asmo some tempo. So we'll have to see how the Snake Trap plays out.
Yeah, and it's pretty important to note that Bloodmage Talnos is actually a minion that gets a lot of value against classes that cannot kill it. Like if Asmodai wants to spend a turn killing them, a Bloodmage Talnos, then that's fine for Freaky. But if he wants to leave Talnos on the board, then that's fine for Freaky as well. So Bloodmage Talnos is extremely good card against the likes of classes that do not have a hero power that deal with it for free. And there we see another Frostbolt and an Acolyte of Pain for Freaky. So I'm guessing you want to ping your own Acolyte. So what do you think about Frostbolt your opponent's face at this stage in the game, or is it not the time to do that just yet?
I personally wouldn't do it. You've got Alex here. You've got all the burst you need to finish him off after an Alex. I mean, throwing away one Frostbolt isn't too bad. I don't like the Acolyte being played here because it just eats the bow. I'd rather get some draw value off it next turn, but he may be thinking if I can get him to use his bow, his secret, it's less effective because it doesn't give him a charge, and he also wastes another 3 damage on a minion. So he soaks up 6 damage from the Hunter.
Yeah, of course. But as we see right now in Asmodee's hand, there's double Savannah Jaime and a coin, so there's some really, huge turn 5 and 6 coming for Asmodee, and he needs to put a lot of pressure on his opponent to get there. So apparently my client backed on me again, so you have to take it from here.
So Shredder seems pretty fine here. Develops a minion that Freaky will have to most likely respond to his spells if he wants to deal with it. And he's also got the Death Rattle to deal with after. But he's actually going to clean up with the bow, which I like. He doesn't put any contest. It doesn't contest the Death Rattle minion that comes out from the Shredder. And like you said, he's got 2 power plays coming next turn. Turn 5 high main followed by turn 6 high main. So at the moment, things are looking good for Asmo. He will, unless he can deal with these high mains, he's going to punch a lot of damage through in the next few turns.
Like, if I'm Freaky at this stage of the game, like, there are 10 points of damage coming through, 14 points of damage coming through in the next 2 turns, so I'm not really sure if I want to use my first Nova. Like, Freaky has has a game plan at this point. Like, reach turn 10 and kill your opponent with double fireball and the first volt. And you want to use Alex on your opponent's face, but the thing is, you have to plan out your turns. Like, I do believe Freaky has a way to, win in this matchup, and he has that way in hand. But I guess he needs to be a little bit patient with his first Nova and whatnot. Of course,
I agree with you.
Yeah. Of course, he's gonna.
Because like you said, he's taking 10 damage, and it's not a big deal right now, is it? Whereas any more board he develops, using a Frost Nova there will definitely have a stronger effect.
Yeah, of course, it's gonna be really hard right now because if you're Asmodee, you're thinking of playing your next Savannah High main, which is correct because, of course, Savannah High main is insane on your curve, especially if you have played another one in the previous turn. But the thing is, do you attack the Acolyte of Pain with your Pilot Shredder? And I'm guessing that you might want to do that since... Now, this is really hard because how much do you value the 4 damage that you're gonna give up for your opponent to not get another draw? Like, the high main goes to the face, that is for sure, but I do think this is a difficult decision for Asmodee, and he decides that he values 4 damage more than the 1 card that he's gonna give his opponent. That he's gonna give his opponent. So
I think the thing he's thinking is he doesn't have a kill command available to him yet, so this 4 damage is probably a little bit more important. And with another Ice Barrier come down with a Frost Nova, I think it was probably the correct play because he's gonna lose 12. He's gonna lose the damage isn't board and anything he has in hand as well this turn because of Frost Nova. So this turn's going to be quite passive in comparison. Probably just a hero power, maybe develop a few little things, but he still has to be worried about Flame Strike and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the High Master here? Do you think it's good to kind of make just a bigger minion to protect against Flame Strike and stuff?
I mean, you could make an argument for going Houndmaster into one of the high mains because that way you protect, both the high mains from a potential Flame Strike. And I do like the hero power here, but I guess that there's a Pyroblast, so that makes things a tad bit more difficult for for Freaky, but still, if I'm Freaky at this stage in the game, I would, just cast in my Acolyte of Pain, ping the Acolyte of Pain, draw another card, and Frostbolt one of the high mains, maybe Frostbolt the Houndmaster at this stage in the game, just to, buy time, because next turn is going to be Alex Strauss, and then you have the kill condition in hand, so you basically need to survive 2 more turns, like...
Yeah, I mean, using a Frostbolt here wouldn't be too terrible. He still has the other one available. And like you said, you're just trying to stall out enough, soak up as much damage as possible here. So on 9, you've got Alex, you don't get your block, pop that turn either. And then you just throw loads of spells at him and win, generally.
Yeah. I mean,
like
it's a nice
Doomsayer.
plan. Yeah, and Doomsayer is going to make it so your opponent has to find a way to A, deal with the Doomsayer, B, get past the Ice Block and the Ice Barrier. That's not going to happen. So I guess Freaky is the favorite one to win here. So let's see if Asmodai can find a way to, to prevent that. But if you're Asmodai, you're probably thinking that you're quite fine because this is again a first mate's nut draw. Like going Alexstrasza into next turn kill you. It's not going to happen any time of the day. Apparently, it's going to happen now, but not that common.
I'd like to see Haunted Creeper play here. I would even consider maybe playing the spinner as well, just in case you draw something that can help you. Maybe like a King Crush or a not Stampeding Coda. What's the charge one?
The Tundra Rhino, if
That's
I'm
the
not
one,
mistaken. Yeah.
So, and when this Doomsayer goes off now, he's gonna get. Oh, he's clearing a Doomsayer actually.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, because if you're Asmodai, you feel that you're in a pretty good position because you do not expect Alexstrasza into double Fireball and Frostbolt. But that's exactly what's going to happen unless there is, I don't know, something really good coming out of the Pilot Shredder like Vitality Totem. But I guess that's the only one.
Oh man, so tough for Asmodai here. Frigga having everything he needs to clean up this game next turn. But like you said, unless he finds something from that Shredder, or maybe even that Web Spinner, it's going to be tough.
I mean, this is basically your only option at this stage in the game, and if you're Asmodai, you know something is, not good because your opponent just used Alexstrasza on your face. And you're playing the Hunter, so that says a lot about his hand, but he's gonna try to do the best that he can, but I don't think this will be enough.
And Malorne. Coming from that Web Spinner. Always a fun card to see from the Web Spinner.
Yeah, all the cards coming out of Web Spinner are so much better than what they would be if you were normally playing them.
Yeah, pretty much. So Frika takes this game. His hand lined up really nicely for this kind of finish here. He had the Alexstrasza quite early. He drew a lot of bursts. It looked quite clunky, but Asmodai didn't really have a really strong early game board presence. It wasn't really until he played that Shredder that he established any real board. The Mad Scientist traded, and he couldn't keep it going, and Frika was able to take this game quite convincingly. Even though Asmodai looked like he was really far ahead, but Free Mage Man is sneaky. They keep those burn spells tucked away, and all of a sudden you've lost.
I mean, it happens, yeah.
So that's 1-0 to Freaky. That takes the total score up to 5-4. So Freaky still needs to win 2 more games to actually win the entire series for SK Gaming. So if Asmo actually wins 2 games in the set, I don't think SK can actually win, if I'm correct.
Yeah, of course. And let's find out as we head into the next game. It's gonna be Hunter, and we get to see Asmodai's Rogue, which you've had me kind of excited for it. So let's see.
I haven't seen what version he's playing at the moment, but Asmo is a rogue expert, so we'll see what he can do against this rogue. This rogue is sort of looking like face, but it could still be hybrid. We haven't had enough information. The traps, speaking of traps, the traps generally tell you what direction this sort of deck goes in, and when you see explosive, you're more likely to expect face hunter.
Let's see, as I'm having some trouble, the spectator mode keeps on bugging on me, so that's why I have those long pauses there, here and there, so... Okay, yeah, this is definitely Face Hunter. And here we see, as you said before, an Oil Rogue. I don't know, is there a chance that Asmodai is playing the same list that with Goblin Auto Barbers, the Assassin's Blade?
There is a possibility, but Asmodai has played probably a lot of variations of Rogue. That's probably, and that one, when I saw him last playing that was a few weeks ago, so maybe he's just gone back to kind of his roots of oil. Do you know the biggest sin of this matchup is that Freaka is using the Alira skin, while he's
Oh,
playing
okay,
Face
okay.
Hunter. You just shouldn't be allowed, you know. You smoke. She is not a smoke. So
I mean, the new hunter skin is so, I don't know, soothing. Like, you do not feel bad if you lose the face hunter like that. You need Rexar in order to, you know, rub all these face hunter skills. Like, even the BM that you can do with this hunter is not good. It's not gonna get there.
I agree. I mean, Alira's fine for mid hunter, but when it comes to hybrid and face, you play Rexar. I think that should be a rule. I think HearthStone should force you to play Rexar. If you put a combination of face hunter cards in your deck, it just doesn't let you play Alira. It just doesn't let you.
Yeah, like when you type in explosive trap next to leper gnome, then you cannot use that skin or something. I don't know.
A pop-up would come up saying, if you want to use the skin, switch to mid.
Yeah, but I mean, however, we see Asmodai being in a very commanding position in this stage of the game, and I do actually quite like what he's about to play. There's gonna be a prep into tap, which is normally, you know, one of the biggest tempo plays that you can do as a rogue.
Yeah, and Sap has more value against stuff like high main, but I think Asmo has already figured out this is a face hunter deck, so he's taking that 1 damage away from that creeper. Maybe the difference between him winning or losing later on. And not only that, he creates a really strong board through the Violet Teacher. So I think it's right.
Okay, so we're gonna see Freaky with not a good turn 5 apparently, because yes, you do have double explosive trap, but your hand of double arcing golem is very, very, very risky to play against an opponent like Noil Rogue. So Freaky is gonna go ahead, set up a trap, and play a Haunted Creeper. Asmodai is gonna activate the trap. And usually this is the spot where you want to have Unleash the Hounds as the hunter player, because you're going to take a lot of damage. You're going to take 9 points of damage from that attack, and let's see, as there's going to be, I believe, another sub take care of the Haunted Creeper.
So much damage coming from Asmo here. Look how much damage he's done. I mean, hunters are usually the ones known for dealing consistent damage over time, but look at Asmo here. He's taking an aggressive stance, taking the initiative.
I mean, that's how generally I do believe that's how the matchup should go. Like, if you're the rogue player, you want to keep on par with you know, when it comes to life and life points, and when it comes to how much pressure you're applying to your opponent, in order to, you know, be able to avoid those situations where you have taken control of the board, but the hunter is at such high life total that you cannot touch it. So very good play, rogue playing by Asmodai. He knows what he's doing. However, there's a second trap, but as we mentioned in the previous match, you cannot be safe against rogue when you're at such, you know, low life total, and that's gonna be it.
Yeah, you know, Asmo showing his rogue skills here. He's taking the initiative with his hand, taking that aggressive stance. It's very hard to trade and fight for board against Face Hunter with Rogue, generally. If you have an opportunity, it depends really how your hand goes. You may have, like, if you have a lot of healing, you may be able to sustain, but generally you can race Face Hunters. You have a lot more burst than they have generally. Like Blade Flurries, Tinkers, all that sort of stuff. A lot of kind of immediate damage. Face Hunter is a deck that kind of kills you over time and then just finishes you off.
Yeah, of course. And let's see, as we head into the next game, what do you think these players are gonna pick? You know, like we saw the Rogue taking a decisive victory for Asmodai. Do you think it's time that we have Rogue from Freaky as well?
Maybe, yeah. He's got 3 decks available to him. He's still got a Hunter. He might feel that might match up against, say, a Shaman or a Warlock. That's probably what I would choose. And it looks like he's actually gone for the Shaman, and we're gonna. Oh, it's looking like mid Shaman actually, and that's an excellent hand for Asmodai.
Let's see, as Asmodai is As apparently, oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's got a Zombie Chow, an Earth Shock, a Lightning Storm, and a Flame Tongue Totem. He decides to throw away the Flame Tongue and the Lightning Storm, picks up 2 Drakes instead. A bit clunkier, but I would like to have seen the Flame Tongue keep alive. I mean, the Face Hunter's not going to trade into your totems that much, so we could have got some value from that. And we've seen an Earth Shock come down straight away here. That's pretty much a straightforward play for. And you get a coin Zombie Chow. I really like this. He deals with the Lepinome, takes no damage from it, and gets a 2-free body out there. Can start trading.
It's a very good start, to be honest, but I think there's an argument to be made about keeping the coin, because those 5 drops in your hand are basically dead card until you reach the point where you can play them. So you are basically batting on your deck to give you a nice top deck, but as to this point, like, you're not taking any damage. Like, your opponent just has he's just using his stuff to control the board, which is fine if you are the Salmon player, and that's a really good roll. We see Feralims coming from Asmodee's top deck. That's gonna stem the bleeding a lot, and it will allow him to get to his Sludge Belcher, his Azure Drakes, and whatnot. So really good stuff here. And do you know if Asmodee is playing any heal bots in his deck? Like, maybe he's playing any weapons or not?
A heal bot, most certainly. I think a mid shaman needs one, because the problem shamans had until Healbot came along was they had no healing at all. So if they got behind on life and board, they generally just lost. They had no way to kind of like swing health back in their favor. So I'd be expecting one. As for weapons, I mean, some players I love Doomhammer, it's one of my favorite weapons, but some players just don't like them. They just rather maybe just one Power Mace just to help deal with the early pressure. But we'll have to see. I mean, it could be anything really.
Like, I mean, I'm a really huge fan of the, of the Power Mace, just because I do believe someone needs a lot of early game in order to catch up with, classes like Hunter or maybe Zoo. So I'm all for it, and there's a really nice boost in that. But there's an argument to be made about Doomhammer in, matchups like that. So that being said, we have reached turn 5. So right now, Asmodee has the opportunity to play out, all these 5 drops that he had. He was holding in his hand the whole time, and that Sludge Belcher is going to be, it's going to be a pain for Freaky to deal with, because you have to, I guess you have to waste the quickshot no matter what, because you are not going to get free, juggle hits. Even if both juggles hit Belcher, then that doesn't guarantee anything, so you have to waste the quickshot. And I guess that's fine at this stage in the game, but next turn what's going to happen is Asmodee is going to use his Flame Tongue Totem to take care of the tokens. Okay, so he's... Okay, that's not going to happen apparently. And... Yes, I mean, there's one... Yeah?
I mean, if Asmo top decks the Lightning Storm... Oh, hello. Speak of the devil. I think
okay.
This is in Asmo's this is Asmo's game to take. Face Hunter 1 card. The Shaman's at 24 health on turn 7. I can't see how Face Hunter really wins, and he's got a 1/1 token to take out this explosive trap as well. It's looking really good. If he draws a heal bot now, I think it's just GG's.
Yeah, apparently. And at this stage in the game, it's actually pretty hard for the Salmon to come back. Like, Lightning Storm is pretty good, but if there's a follow-up, then, it's pretty hard to come back from this. And HearthStone has not been kind to me. Like, I have restarted my client so many times at this point in the game, so sorry if you are missing on some of the coverage. And it seems that Freaky is left with little to no cards, but his life total is actually quite high at this stage in the game, and that's pretty good. And it's entirely on Asmodee on how he wants to deal with this Arcane Golem.
Yeah, I think this is good. Defender Vargas quits 3/4 body. The Glaive Zuka cannot take it out alone. He doesn't actually draw into an answer here, so he may have to use this Arcane Golem to get rid of the Zombie Chow. He just needs to keep pushing for damage now. He's in top deck mode. I don't think he has the time to waste. Especially if the Shaman draws an anti-heal bot, or he just starts drawing some more power play cards like Alakir and stuff like that. It's going to be harder for him to deal with stuff like Alakir. And I think another concerning thing here for Freaky is he's got a kind of a victimless trap pop here if he decides to run the Argus in, but he may use the Knife Jug as kind of a bait out of trade, but no, he decides to just go with a shot to the face. Wow, that's an old card we don't see very much anymore.
Oh, see, Lightning Bolt. So I don't know how high his curve goes. Like, I don't know how, if he has to be playing Alakir. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he's playing Lightning Bolts, then he has to be playing Alakir because he wants that extra, damage, and Alakir is the perfect card for that. And this is actually a very nice defender of Argus at this stage in the game, but I don't think that Freaky has a lot of time. Of course, he's gonna try to get through with his hero power, and the explosive trap is just perfect at this stage of the game, but I think that Asmodai can just, check with the 3-2 Defender of Argus, and then he can use Azure Drake into Flame Tongue Totem, take control of the board, and basically have his opponent on a 2-turn clock and be fine with it.
I'd rather play Fire Elemental here, to be honest. 6/5 body, 3 more damage. You've got 9 health. The Hunter can still draw some stuff to finish you off. So you can play like Fire Elemental here and still Totem. And next turn he has Lethal. Like I'd like a Fire Elemental here. What else are you gonna Fire Elemental at this point? I mean, if you're going for the win right now.
Yeah, of course, but I was thinking along the lines of Azure Drake because it might let you draw into... If you're playing a Doomhammer in this deck, it might let you get in that Doomhammer, but this is actually, this is a valid line as well. Like, you have lethal into turns, in, the following turn. And that was bad. See, this is not a trained juggler. This is not a professional juggler.
Needs to go back to juggling school, I think.
Yeah. Like, there are some jugglers who just... They're on point. They graduated that juggling school alongside, the sniper rags and whatnot. But this is not gonna do it. And Asmodai is gonna take that match with double Lightning Bolt in hand, and he might as well go for it. I mean, that's what these Lightning Bolts are in there for. So. Yeah, that makes it the second game that Asmodai has won in, in a quite convincing fashion. So we see someone taking this win, and it actually makes it 2 games for Asmodai, if I'm not mistaken.
It makes the overall series 7-4. So SK, there's 2 game. There's 1 game left in the series, right?
Yeah.
So SK Gaming actually can't win the overall set. They can just go for this a moral victory here. So this is going to be the last game. Asmodai only has his Warlock left, I believe.
And we're going to see the last game. And as we said before, this is a tournament series where you gather points for your team. So I'm expecting, Freaky to try and get as many points as possible, so that's pretty good. But of course, London Conspiracy, having secured the quote-unquote win in this series, very good performance by them, especially that 4-0 sweep that Raven had against Setalot. That was pretty convincing, I guess. And...
Raven surprised me that game, just from his deck choices more than anything. I mean, in our team, especially between like me, Raven, and Cow, like I play a lot of aggro. I just like playing fast decks. Raven like plays a bit of everything, and Cow kind of plays control, so it's kind of spread out. So it's very surprising to see him take such an aggressive lineup. I'm proud of him as an aggro player. I'm very proud of his performance.
Like, I am an aggro fan as well, so I can get behind with with all this, and it apparently seems to be the correct choice. Like, if you won 4 games to 0, you're doing something correct, and that's, smashing face in a game of Hearthstone. So let's jump into the last game, and it's gonna be Warlock versus Rogue, and we get to see Freaky's Rogue, and what do you think about how does this normally play out? Like we see the demon-esque Zoo against Rogue. So how does this matchup typically go?
Generally, Rogue has to play quite reactive from the start. It does require a fair few cards to get going. SI7 is definitely one of them. Deadly Poison. He's already got the Blade Flurry. That's a really key card as well. But I think the issue Rogue has with Zoo that it didn't have before GVG and BlackRock is Mal'Ganis and Voidcaller. These cards that have these cards which add to stuff like Nerubian Egg and Haunted Creeper, which are just annoying to get rid of or have consequences if you do get rid of them. So I think it makes it a little bit harder for Rogue, but it's not unwinnable. It's definitely if they get those key cards, I can help them establish kind of some early control. It can definitely be a winning matchup for them.
Like I do think that it's it's very essential for the Rogue player to try to get a good use out of his of course his AoE, and then he might have to kill a Void Caller and then sub whatever comes out of it, and that's actually a very key difference. Like I have heard Firebat talking about this, and I do think this is the approach that players need to get it as the Rogue player in this matchup. So there's gonna be Void Terror on turn 3, very strong play by Asmodai. And turn passes back to Freaky, who has a very nice chance to catch up on the board using his Violet Itcher if he so desires.
I think he has to sap Eviscerate here. Like, the problem with Void... This is such a massive swing for any mid-Zoo or Zoo player to do, is the kind of egg into Void Terror. Look, a 4/4 and a 3/5 on turn 3 with whatever you played on turn 1, it's just humongous. So we're definitely going to see an Eviscerate here, because if he doesn't, he's gonna be playing catch up for the rest of the game, and he doesn't want to be in that position.
So there we see a very nice Defender of Argus. And we might see Void Walker, Coin Defender of Argus, but I think if you are Asmodai, you might want to keep your coin since your opponent just used Sap, so there might not be another Sap in his hand for your Sylvanas next turn. Or you might want to keep the Sap, the coin for Dr. Boom, but there is an argument to be made about that Defender of Argus buffing the other Void Walker.
Yeah, I mean, you can tap as well. The Void Walker play alone is quite weak, but he has a very good follow-up play with Sylvanas, and Sylvanas will obviously have that synergy with the the Void Terror. So he'll be able to steal something, maybe get some damage, build a big Void Terror. So he's got the kind of those combo plays coming up if he needs them. But I think what he's probably considering is Void Walker really enough at this point on turn 4? Do I want anything else? And it looks like you are right here. He sees he needs to develop his board a little bit more, and he's going to drop that Argus.
Okay, and I think it's pretty solid at this point in the game. So back on Freaky's turn, he picks up a Backstab, and I mean, that's you can clear off. You don't want to use the backstabs while getting no value at all, but I guess playing Violet Itcher and using the backstab is not that bad. I do believe Freaky's hand to Freaky needed a weapon buff this turn, so that's why I'm really concerned. But if I were Freaky, I would be really concerned about how I wanted to play this out. So let's see.
I mean, he has the option of Violet Teacher, Backstab, Safe C, clear at 1, create a token, gives him a bit of tempo. He could use both Backstabs here if he wants to get another token, but like you said, it doesn't give much value. At least with this Backstab, he does actually clear the minion. So he's probably going to hold on to that. And yeah, and this is the kind of line of play I would have went for. Just develop an extra 1/1, just create some pressure.
Oh, like at this point in the game, there's a Mal'Ganis in There's a Mal'Ganis in Asmodai's hand, so you cannot Doomguard. Like you have to Doomguard basically because it's such a nice tempo play at the moment, but you're gonna lose a good card no matter what, and you lost Sylvanas and Mal'Ganis, so that's pretty hard on Asmodai. But he's taking the lead, and Freaky doesn't seem to have another way to deal with Asmodai's board. Let's see. Gonna Bloodmage Stalnos. backstab and kill off that one, but that's gonna be it, I guess.
You might Blade Flurry, but I don't think it's really worth it at this point. I think Asmo keeping the Dr. Boom was good. If he kept Dr. Boom and Sylvanas, I would have been happy with that. But keeping the Boom is pretty decent. I would have kept the Boom over the Mal'Ganis at that point. Because Mal'Ganis, you didn't have the Void callers available, so Dr. Boom's going to get a lot more mileage than a Mal'Ganis in 2 turns from 7. So yeah, I think he had a pretty decent Doom Guard there.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's correct. Like, the one card that you want to keep off Doomguard is Dr. Boom, obviously the better card against Rogue. But I was like, he could have drawn like any other minion in his deck so that he would still have Mal'Ganis left in his deck. Like, he drew all his expensive cards at his, crucial Doomguard there and there. But I guess what's done is done, and there's gonna be a Blade Flare from Freaky, who's gonna pass the turn back to Asmodai, and Asmodai, I mean, I don't know how this is gonna go, but if you Knife Juggler and then you Void the Knife Juggler, do you still get a knife or not? Pretty sure you don't get a knife.
No, I don't think so. Oh, hits face as well. Unfortunate RNG, but developing an 8/5 is pretty strong.
Yeah, and unless there's sap and a preparation, it's gonna be really hard for Freaky to come back. And
Sorry, I was just thinking, like, Freaky at this point, if you consider the psychology of the player, I mean, he should know by now he's kind of lost the set, and it's not going his way as well. I mean, do you just concede here? I mean, I think I would. It's
like,
tough.
I mean, it's really hard, but if you think that you're basically awarding points for your team, like, what's going to happen if in later stage of the tournament you lose out by, let's say, that one match that you decided to give up, or another match in in some future date that you might give up as well. So if I was Freaky, yeah, I would have been okay with the fact that yes, I have lost the series, but I most likely would have played on, like, at least this is a correct thing to do. Like, of course it's gonna be really hard, but Freaky will not concede just yet. He's gonna pass the turn, and that Dr. Boom is gonna make it so hard. Asmodai is gonna get 3 damage off the summon of the Dr. Boom and the double boom bot, and he's gonna hit his opponent's face down to 4. And if I am Freaky, then yeah, basically you cannot do anything. But you just have to go for it. Like, conceding is not. Conceding is, you feel like you've given up too early, and then you feel bad about yourself. But
I don't know. I think after that sprint, it looked pretty bleak from there. I mean, I generally won't concede unless I'm 100% certain I've lost. And maybe Freaky wasn't 100% certain he'd lost that point, but I don't know what you're gonna do here. Like, what do you do? That is a powerful mid-zoo board. Like, is almost impossible to deal with. Maybe some Blade Flurry play, but the boombots will probably just take you out.
Yeah. You're gonna die to the boombots no matter what, so you might go for it. Like, why not? And I guess he's gonna do just that. He's gonna hit the face and see if he dies to the boombot RNG, so... And the bots are gonna kill him, okay, exact 4 damage, and Asmodai is gonna take that series. Asmodai is gonna take that series, very convincing series by both Raven and Asmodai, putting up great performances against a powerhouse team like SK Gaming. What did you think of your teammates' performance?
I thought my teammates played exceptional, and this is not me just being biased. Especially Raven really stood out for me today, playing some kind of decks I would play, really. So it was nice to see him play those. And Asmo again showing some really strong play, especially that Rogue Hunter match. Very important game there that can really tip in Hunter's favor. If you don't really know how to play the matchup or you don't take the initiative. I think Cow had some unfortunate situations in his game, but I think Spo played exceptionally, especially in the Druid Mage game against Cow. He took the initiative with charge. He was using charge minions instead of into the bears with Druids of the Claw. So that really worked in his favor, and it was kind of having the presence of mind to know what type of deck Cal will play and being able to play against that specific type of deck with his druid. So overall, I think both teams played well.
Yeah,
I can't say anyone played bad, but ultimately things swung in LC's favor. But SK, you know, they're still going strong in this league. They still have a win against Dactylian. So it's all good so far. Early days.
Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. And okay, I'm gonna leave the closing of the whole league, the whole series today to you. I'm just gonna say that it has been a blast. Like, I'm so happy watching decks like Salmon or Priest, either getting banned or getting played and managing a convincing victory. So I'm happy as long as there is that. And Facehander, I just love Facehander for whatever reason. So yeah, any last words?
Well, congrats to London Conspiracy. Be sure to check them out at londonconspiracy.co.uk if you want to know anything more about our team and our players, which you've just watched. Other than that, be sure to check out the sponsors of this event, onlinekeystore.com. Pick up some really cool games on good discounts, as well as gamersleague.esportsify.com, the guys who are running this league, and information on their players, their team, and other bits and pieces like the league boards and stuff like that. But other than that, not much. Anything you want to say about Reg or anything like that?
I believe we are supposed to play in the next or the stream after the. Yeah, we're gonna play Mime Sanity, and I hope it's a good match. Okay, and we're gonna play against HTK on Monday, so I hope our players manage to get such a convincing win like London Conspiracy. And we have some of the biggest Hunter enthusiasts out there, so watch out for them, guys. And yeah, that's gonna be it. So we're gonna see you guys again on Monday, the 20th of the month, if I'm not mistaken. Don't forget to follow this channel to know when we go live. Also check out the tournament schedule on the Gamers League page. And that's gonna be it. So we're gonna see you guys on the next date, and it's gonna be either me or Nick or Silas casting, so expect a little more of that. And yeah, that's it actually. So
right.
have a nice day, and we will see you the next time.
All right, take care, guys, and enjoy your day.
Swallow me, make me whole, and I'm going out of control. Yeah, yeah, that's with me.